Hello all, welcome to this class on isometric projections, and in this class let's solve the third problem, that is a sphere of diameter 45 mm rests centrally over a frustum of cone of base diameter 60 mm, top diameter 40 mm and height 60 mm. So draw its isometric projections. So here we'll have to place a sphere on a frustum of a cone. So cone dimensions are like 60 mm base and top dimensions are 40, and the height between that it is mentioned as 60. So let's try to draw that. So just like how we constructed the cone in the last problem, similarly is what we'll have to construct in this problem as well. So for that, let's try to draw the cone dimensions. So the cone dimensions will be like base separately we'll have to do it, like length, tab, angle, enter. So angle combinations are 30, 150, minus 150 and 30. So for that, let's try to draw a line. So let's try to draw that using a visible line itself. Later on you can try to delete that. So just try to draw a line, and now we enter the dimensions. So base dimensions are 60, tab 30, enter 60, tab 150, enter 60, tab minus 150, enter 60, tab minus 30, enter. So now go to normal line. So just try to, from this point, let's try to draw a line at the midpoint of here, and similarly from this point let's try to draw a line at the midpoint of here, similarly from here to here, and similarly from here to here. So now the next thing what you'll have to do it is arc by center point, make that visible. So from here try to draw an arc. Let this be the midpoint. So you can try to zoom it and try to draw it, so you will get it much better. So let this be the midpoint. So see that you try to draw it correctly. So let that be done using visible line. So similarly do it this side as well. So select that at the midpoint exactly, so that you will not have any confusions. So you can try to zoom it as much better as possible. So go to midpoint again now from this point. So now we have finished the base. So the base is finished. So now we will try to move that move this to a particular position here. So see that you are trying to place it somewhere over here. Okay. Now let's try to draw the top. So the top, let's try to draw it. So let's try to draw a line. And the top dimensions will be 40. So 40 will be the length. So 40 tab. So angle combinations 30. So similarly 40 tab 150, enter 40 tab minus 150, enter 40 tab minus 30, enter. So now let's try to draw the dimensions at every point. So from this corner to these to these two lines, to the midpoint of these two lines. So similarly go to arc by center point, visible line. Let's try to zoom that. So let's try to draw it. similarly from this point, let's try to draw it. Similarly from that point, let's try to draw it. So now we have finished it. So now it's important that you try to draw a diagonal line. So here using a normal line. So draw a diagonal line using a normal line. So even similarly here, try to draw a diagonal line using a normal line. So from the midpoint of here, try to give the height as, height is 60. So enter 60, enter. So now place this, the top over here from pick it exactly at its midpoint. So if you try to place your cursor somewhere here, it indicates its midpoint. So try to place it exactly over this point. So now let's try to zoom that. So see that you try to delete these unnecessary lines, all that, because we'll have to obtain a cube. So to obtain a cube, all these things may not be required. So see that you are trying to delete all these unnecessary ones. So now we have deleted all these unnecessary lines. So now what we'll have to do it is draw a tangent line. So let the tangent line be made visible. So draw tangent lines. So after having drawing the tangent lines, so even you can try to delete these lines as well. So even that they may not be required. So it's very important that before drawing the spear, so spear dimensions are like 45 mm. So from this midpoint, so here exactly from here, just try to draw a radius line. So if a spear is 45 mm, so that means try to draw its radius is about 22.5. So 22.5, just try to enter. So see that at this point actually the spear has to be placed exactly at this point. So let's try to let's try to make this normal. So spear dimensions, so I think here it's important, before even try to do that, so let's try to draw a line. Let's try to draw a horizontal line so that it differentiates that. So using normal line, let's try to not, initially I don't think this one has to be deleted. So that is much better. So here exactly that has to be placed. So now what you can try to do it is select that, scale it to isometric projections 0.816, enter. So now you try to place the spear. So let's give the spear dimensions 45. So at that midpoint 45, enter. So now let's try to trim. So trim these unnecessary lines. So I think all the unnecessary lines have been trimmed now. So I think even this one you can try to trim it. So I think that completes the problem. Thank you. Hello all, welcome to